Hi everyone, it's Helen here from Bodywork-Pilates, and today we're going to talk about feet. So our feet are sometimes the very last thing we think of, even though they are our connection to the ground, and it's a shame really. So today we're going to show our feet a little bit of love. I have here a selection of balls that we use in classes. So this little ball here is a melt ball. This is the soft melt ball. I suppose if you're going to liken it to anything, it's like a firm squash ball, but you can see it's got plenty of give to it. And we do hand and foot treatments using these balls, and they're fantastic. We're not going to use that today, but that's one of the ones that we use. We're actually going to use this spiky ball. So you can see I've got a smooth myofascial ball, and then I've got this spiky ball. And again, you'll see that they've both got plenty of give in them. The idea when you work on your feet is not to punish them. So rolling your feet on a golf ball, a lacrosse ball, a cricket ball, these are all the things that people have said to me in the past. Even a really firm tennis ball. I've got to be honest, I'm not a fan. Most of the time our feet need to release. The fascia in our feet can get very, very tight and need to release. And if you put too much pressure into them, a little bit like soaring up and down your ITB with a foam roller, it's really not what the body's crying out for, and it doesn't help to rehydrate tissues either. So we're going to use this spiky ball. The spikes on it are really quite soft, they're not harsh, and again you can go to all sorts of local shops and you can get spiky balls and they are rock hard, and it's like rolling your feet on needles. It's not what you want. You want something with give in it. You don't want to punish your feet. So we're going to come back to that, but first and foremost we're going to do a little bit of footwork. I do this a lot in my yoga classes. So our feet should be pretty mobile. Really, almost as mobile as our hands if we could get away with it, but of course we don't really need to use them in that capacity, although if you've ever seen somebody use their feet as hands, it is incredible. The adaptation of the human body is startling. But we're just going to work on just trying to get some movement and some connection from the brain down to the feet. So first and foremost, and you can do this sitting on a chair or on the floor as I am now. All you're going to do from here is simply lift your big toe all on its own and then put it back down again. So lift the big toe, put it back down. Lift the big toe and put it back down. And do that a few times, and don't be surprised if you can't do it. It's one of those things that looks really easy when someone can do it and can sometimes be almost impossible for people. So just get that, and you'll see this tendon in the toe contracting to pull the toe up, okay? And then keep the toe down and just lift the other toes. Now the trick to this is not to roll over onto the foot to do it, onto the instep. So just lift the toes up, so even the little toe comes up and then back down again. And then just play around with that, and maybe you can even separate the toes and come through. That's all a bit fancy though, isn't it? So just try and get a sense of being able to separate the movement in the feet. So do that a few times. And then you're going to take your toes as if you were picking up a pencil and just screw the toes up. So if I go side on here, and so you can just see my foot, you'll see that my instep, I've got a reasonably high instep anyway. But as I do this, I don't change my instep, so I'm not doing the whole foot. I'm just screwing up my toes as if I was trying to just claw the mat into the creases of my toes. It's like scrunching up a piece of paper. That's all you're trying to do. And try and do that a few times. And again, you may find that quite difficult if it's something you're not used to doing. I work in bare feet all the time, so my feet are pretty mobile by most people's standards. But I do these kind of things a lot. I exercise my feet a lot. Okay, and then when you've done that a little bit, then you do want to bridge the whole foot. So you can see my instep here, and if I bridge my entire foot, I bridge my outstep as well, so you can see my whole hand comes through. So rather than just screwing up my toes now, I want to lift the whole thing. And this really works into the arches of the feet. This might give you cramp, so just be warned. So you just bridge up into those feet and get that feeling of working into the base of the foot. So you get that feeling of contracting, really getting some work into the foot. Okay, so you can do those a few times as well. And then I like to do is I like to get my fingers and I feed a finger between every toe and wiggle it down as much as possible, okay? And then just give the toes and the Top of the foot, just a little bit of manipulation. Go forward and back, just get that feeling of moving those toes around. And then, and this is the one that nobody really likes, I get people to just do that with their hand between their toes. So spread out and feel those toes coming apart, separating. You just imagine how much time you spend with your feet just squashed into shoes and boots in the winter and trainers. And so I want to just try and get a little bit of space in between all those toes. Okay, and then feet a little massage if you want to. Then I take hold of my ankle, above my ankle actually, and I just give my foot a good shake, just to get a little bit of circulation going on. And then when you put that down and you'll look and you'll place one foot next to the other, and you might find that the foot's a different colour, you may find that it feels a little fizzy, maybe the toes are more separated than they were, maybe before they were a little bit tight, now they feel a little looser. So obviously we need to do that on the other side. So again, all you're going to do is lift the big toe and lower, lift and lower, get that feeling. If you really struggle to do this, then hold the other toes down just until you get the feeling that your commands are being recognised. Okay, and then just the other toes, and do that without moving onto the inside. So you don't want to fall inwards to do that. Big toe down, all the other toes pop up. And then you can play around with that a little bit. You can try and separate the toes completely, just go up and down like that. Okay, so that's your first thing. Then you're going to try and pick up that pencil. So again, side on, all you're going to do is just screw up the toes, only the toes. And if you want to, you can use a pencil. We tend to do this with the squashy balls in classes, trying to pick up the squashy ball in classes. And then from there, bridge the entire foot. So now you can see the outstep of my foot lifting. So lifting and releasing, lifting and releasing. And again, this might make the sole of the foot feel a little crampy, but massage it out. Stick with it. Okay, and then from there, we take that and we feed a finger between every toe. Just ease them down to the base and then just manipulate the toes a little bit. Just get a little bit of movement into those toe joints. Trying to just get some mobility, some separation, just releasing the tension. And then, of course, separating the things out. So really spread those things out. Try and get those toes apart so that when you look, you can see space between every toe when you're standing barefooted. You can see the floor between the toes. Okay, and then from there, take hold above the ankle so the ankle is still mobile, and then let the foot be floppy and just shake the foot a little bit. I love this one. And then again, take a wee look. And again, that foot might feel a bit fizzy, just feels different, warm. Okay, so there's some of the little foot exercises that we do in yoga and Pilates. Then I'm going to take this wee ball, I'm going to stand up and we'll do a little bit of work to release the base of the foot on this. So, just going to put the ball of the foot onto the ball, more biased towards the big toe. And the heel is still down on the ground. So from here, just press on and off. So the bias is towards the big toe edge of the ball of the foot. And do that a few times. And then take it over to the ball of the little toe edge. So the outer edge. And again, just on and off a few times. And then from there, keeping the heel down, just windscreen wipe, just swish your foot from side to side. So you roll the ball from the ball of the big toe to the ball of the little toe. Then bring it back to centre, press down for a moment and release. Take the ball to the instep. So onto the instep and just press into it a few times. And this is why you don't want a really unpleasantly hard ball, because you're going into quite sensitive tissue. And then take that over to the outstep, so it's more towards the outer edge of the foot. Okay, and then just at centre, press down for a moment, then release. Put the heel onto the ball, so the front of the foot's on the floor, and press on and off a few times. Then with the ball of the foot down, just swish the ball from side to side, so it goes right across the heel. Bring it back to centre, press down, hold for a moment, then release. From here, you are going to just squiggle the ball all around the foot. So you're just rubbing it all over, get to the toes, in-step, out-step, right through to the heel. Ooh, it's really nice, assuming the ball's not too hard. So it feels really nice. And then bring it to centre, bring one foot next to the other, close your eyes for a moment. And just notice how that foot and leg feels compared to the one you've just been standing on. Just notice how it feels. So for me, I now feel much less separation in my joints. I'm not so obviously aware of my ankle joint and my knee joint. They just seem to all flow together much easier. Okay, let's do the same thing on the other side. So, underneath the ball of the big toe, so we're biased to the inner edge, and we're just pressing on and off. Be careful how much pressure you add, and you can rock the weight on and off so you don't feel like you're putting all the weight into the back leg, and then change. So, go over onto the little toe edge. And then from there, heel on the floor, just swish it from side to side. So just rolling that ball with a little bit of pressure from one side to the other. Then bring it to centre, pause, a little bit of pressure, release, move to the instep. So press on and off, just do that, just press on and off. You may find that one side seems a little bit more sensitive than the other. What you shouldn't feel is hideous pain. Move to the outstep. If you're feeling hideous pain, then the ball's too hard or you're applying too much pressure. So back off a little. Okay, do that to the instep and the outstep. Pause, just at centre, and then move to the heel. So these are all very quick. You don't have to spend ages of time. Just press on and off from the heel, just on and off. And then side to side, so just pushing that ball side to side, a little bit of pressure on it, then bring it back to centre, a little bit of pressure, pause, and then release. Now from here, just rapidly, just go right around the foot, all the way around, out step, in step. And then just go back to the first foot because you've been standing heavily on it and give that a little bit of a rub out again, and then bring it back to centre. Stand again, feet about hip distance, find the balance, close the eyes, and just notice how the feet feel now after just a little bit of care and attention. Should feel quite nice. Okay, so there you go. Little bit of care and attention for the feet. If you don't have one of these spiky balls, then just try and find maybe something that's smoother, but again, make sure it's got good give in it. You don't want anything that's too hard. See how you get on with that. Drop me a comment. Got any questions? Let me know. Speak to you soon. Bye.